We are here with Island Block Radio, the first NHPI radio station based in Hollywood. Am I right, Joey?
Correct. Yeah. And Joey is my government name. Some may know me as Q, but you're right. It's the first Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander owned radio station that broadcasts out of Hollywood. So we're excited to be here. Thank you guys.
No, thank you. I think it's so important for us to showcase the Pacific Islander community, and thank you for doing the work. Before we get started, let me just introduce you. I have Joey Kayla here and Miss Lulu. Miss Lulu, we go back to LBCC days. So
LBCC, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute. So without further ado, thank you so much for hopping on Long Beach API. We are still in like the beginning stages of Long Beach API, so it's such an honor to have you all representing Island Radio. So, I'm gonna go ahead.
The pleasure is ours.
Super
I'll
sweet.
speak for Q.
There you go. So, without further ado, why don't we have you all introduce yourselves to our crowd on Facebook and here on the Zoom. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves.
I think we go ladies first. The first lady of Island Block Radio.
I thought it was always age before beauty, but I'll
Oh,
go.
okay. Well, we can do that. So this sort of conversation happens all the time with Island Block. So let's do this. We're gonna switch it around. I'm gonna introduce Lou, and Lou will introduce me. How about that?
I like that. Ooh.
Are you ready? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's that?
That's a teaching strategy, by the way. We do that in the classroom where we have them talk to each other and they introduce themselves. So thank you for doing that.
Taking notes. So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody out there that's tuned in, thank you guys for inviting Island Block Radio to be a part of this important panel. I'm excited because the first lady of Island Block Radio was born on my home island of Guam, is of Samoan descent. She is an educated triple threat actress, singer, and actress, singer, dancer, model. I'm gonna just put it all out there. She is. She has interviewed everybody. Yeah, she juggles. She's interviewed everybody from upcoming artists to The Rock. She was on the blue carpet representing Island Block Radio for the Moana release on Hollywood Boulevard. In addition to that, I could say that she could probably kill you with one finger because she is an Olympian that has represented Samoa in what? Judo. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of Island Block Radio, the first lady of Island Block Radio, and really I love having her, calling her my sis. She's been with Island Block Radio before it was Island Block Radio. Silulu Aitonu Gray, otherwise known as Miss Lulu. How you doing, Miss Lulu?
My gosh, you got me all verklempt over here, Q. No.
Hold on, let me Google that word.
That was such a beautiful introduction. Now I gotta make up some stuff about you. No, I'm just kidding. No, thank you so much. I am so honored and privileged to actually be a part of this and to be asked. Q had mentioned it to me in the beginning of the week, like if I was available, and I couldn't say no, so if I had the opportunity to be a part of this, I absolutely had to. And now to see Angel, I'm like, hey girls, just to see you since LBCC, I'm like, look at us. No. But let me introduce, before I take over, like I usually do. Poor Q can't get a word edgewise, but let me introduce my brother. Okay, so now that Angel has told everybody his government name, Google him, Joey. But he has been part of the community. I met Q when I was a little thing, and he was still a dinosaur. He's been part of the community for, I want to say 20 plus years, just in working in the community. And he has his Chamorro Foundation as well that he has established and has done huge things, especially with awareness here in the United States, in the mainland, for the Chamorro community, but not just for the Chamorro community. He was the one that birthed the idea of Island Block Radio, actually, with the barbecue show when it first started. And he's the reason that all of us came together to be a part of this. And without him, we would not be here talking to all of you now. So I want you to give a big round of applause. Oh, and so I might sing and do all those things, but Q actually, what was that group that you were in? Something Brown,
oh,
right?
Brown.
Like,
Brown. Yep.
Oh yeah, So he was a part of that. He can sing. No, he doesn't sing. He sang. So he's really amazing with that. He also worked for the government with communications. That's his background. So he can come off the cuff with some big words that I still need to Google and look up in the dictionary. He can talk circles around you. I'm like, I don't even want to reply because I don't even think I know what that means. So give a big round of applause to my brother and the founder of the barbecue show and one of the founders of Island Block Radio. The reason we are who we are. RQ.
Lou, it's as if you practice. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So natural. I love the energy here. So natural.
In other words, we're natural BSers. Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh.
We got it.
You are too funny. Okay, so the purpose of having you guys on is just to try to be a representation for our students, but to also share your story, because our students really, they learn and they grab whatever fact or story, part of your narrative, and it'll inspire them. So we're hoping they take something from your stories and something from the music industry, because I know there's so many talented API students out there that will tune in tonight or tune in later on during the week. So if you can share your journey as an API student and then becoming an entrepreneur.
I guess I'll start because it looks like my mic is on. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, you know what? I like many of the students out there, especially here with Long Beach API, I am a product of Long Beach. And so I went to Webster, I went to Bernie, I was at Hughes, I went to Millikan, and then got an associate's from Long Beach City College. So I too am a Viking and a product of what I think is probably one of the preeminent school districts in the nation. So all that being said, really living in Long Beach and growing up in Long Beach is an advantage. And I hope that all you students who are in the Unified School District can really understand that. And what I mean by that is that we have, living in such a diverse city, we have the ability to interact with many different ethnicities, many different financial, there are folks that are super rich and there are folks that are, regular folks like us. So is that an advantage? Absolutely, because you can go out into the world and pretty much feel comfortable in talking with anyone. Let's take it a long way back. So when I first started, my mother started this dance group that Miss Lulu alluded to, and I'm proud to say that it is one of the first Chamorro cultural dance groups in the continental United States. And shout out to Heidi for continuing that. But as a result of this, I was a musical director for the dance group for over 20 years. For some reason, I just, our people, we're just very, we love harmonies. We love to sing. We love music. It's just innate. It's in our DNA. So another chapter in my life saw me as, like Miss Lulu said, as a singer for a group called Cord Brown. And in this group were some of the most talented NHPI artists around. And they are out there doing things right now. Tanel, derived from the group, there's a prolific songwriter by the name of Zen. He did his thing and had a solo career. Leilani Jaster, Junior King from the Common Kings was in this group as well. And I realized that I look around these group of very talented singers, and they're a very good looking group of singers. They're young and they're talented. And I go, if that's singing, what am I doing? And I realized that that, although I love music, I realized that there are very talented people in here. And I said, as a young adult, I wanted to music is in me, and I wanted to be in a career that that I would continue to be around music. And I happened to find Island Block Radio. Now that actually derived as a result of over 20 years of community service that Joe, I'll put his government name out there, that the co-founder Joe Favai and I did. So in working with the community organizations, and I'll make this really quick, but I think it's important to note that the Census 2020 is coming around. And why is that important? Well, at the beginning of Island Block Radio, the inspiration for Island Block Radio and creating ethnic media for our people derived from the Census 2010. And so as an executive director, I applied for some funding to get marketing dollars for our people to make sure that we get counted. Our African-American brothers and sisters, they applied and they got accepted. Asian American brothers and sisters, same thing. Latinos, same thing. But if I applied as the NHPI community, and our application got denied. And, as you guys are probably saying, Angel, I can see it on your face. You're probably like, yo, why did they deny our application? And the answer was simple. The answer was, they said, Joey, the NHPI community does not have ethnic media. And as mad as I was, as upset as I was about that, that was the reality of it. And Joe Sav and myself looked at each other and we said, you know what? Community service comes in many shapes, forms, and facets. And so we identified a gap and we filled that gap. And here we are 10 years later, and it's Island Block Radio.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Miss Lulu, why don't you share how you came about into Island Block Radio? Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Rewind. We want to hear your story as a student, as an API student, and your journey getting to Island Block Radio.
Well, Q, that was amazing. And yeah, I always love hearing our beginnings, the story of Island Block. Well, for me, yes, Angel, I did start off, well, here in the States, I did my education, my first form of education in Samoa. And then I moved to Utah and did college there. When I moved to LA, because I finally decided that I wanted to be in the entertainment field, I was looking more into acting, actually. And so I found at Long Beach City College, their acting program was one of the best in the country for a city college, for a junior college, which was incredible. And I happened to have family that I was staying with in Long Beach to be able to attend Long Beach City College. I went in and I found that there was a PI community in Long Beach City College. And I was so excited for it because coming from Samoa and then moving to Utah, it was a big culture shock for me because in Utah, at the time at least, where I was in Ogden, there wasn't a lot of Pacific Islanders. And the ones that were there was just a stigma. I remember my first job in America was at McDonald's when I was 16. And a police officer came in, and a Caucasian police officer, and he said, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Samoa. And he said, oh, you're saying it wrong. He said, oh, you mean Samoa? And I'm like, no, I mean Samoa. But okay. And then he said, oh, you're Samoan. So are you part of SOS? Now I'm fresh off the boat. Okay. So I don't know SOS, and I don't know the gang affiliations. And I just stood there stunned, and I felt really stupid. And I said, I'm sorry, is that a group for Samoans that I need to look up and be a part of? I said, oh no, like that's Sons of Samoa, that's a gang. So are you part of a gang? I'm like, wow. And at that moment for me, I felt the ignorance, right? And I wanted to educate my surroundings as far as Pacific Islanders that unfortunately here in Utah, in the middle of like this really conservative place, that Sons of Samoa was already a big name. And I don't know how that even came about, right? And I was like, you know, we are more than just that. Like every community and every ethnicity, there are the highs and the lows that we have to account for. So then I moved to, I did college at Dixie State, and then I moved to LA, to Long Beach specifically, and I joined Long Beach City College. And yes, it was amazing. I loved it. I was privileged enough and very much fortunate to be voted as the president for the Pacific Islander Club. I had no idea what I was doing, but luckily for me, I just had a really amazing group of young people. Angel, you know, all too well. But yes, that just the tenacity of these individuals, and they were younger than me, but they pretty much taught me more than I taught them. I just happened to be a little bit of a facilitator to be able to put a voice. Communications has always been my background. And just to organize, I had the gift, a little bit of organization, and the gift to gab, to meet people. People is definitely one of my passions. And so, like Q had said as well, that we can communicate to any level of individual. So my journey started there with Long Beach City College, and I got everything that I needed out of Long Beach City College. And from that, the tsunami happened, right? So the tsunami in Samoa happened in the Pacific. And that's where I actually got to really meet Q and Joe Sav, because we were doing a lot of the donations, right? So we had organized donations from Long Beach City College, and they brought their big trucks in, and we were loading it up, and that's where I met Joe Sav and Q. And since then, we have just been kind of inseparable. We networked together, and we found that there was a lot of similarities in the places that we would link up at, you know, like certain community functions, and then we found out that we could actually, certain services that we could provide for each other. Then I don't know if it was like a year later or something, Q, I don't remember, but I was a part of a singing competition that Q was a judge for. And the barbecue show had been established at this point. It was in its beginnings, and we were interviewed, the finalists, for the singing competition. And after that interview, I'll never forget it, they had approached me with the opportunity to be a part of the radio community, well, a barbecue show. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you sure? Apparently I made a good impression. And I think it was when they had asked me to sing, and I was under the weather, and I kind of did some smart remark of, well, you know, that's why you have to come to the competition to hear me sing. and so Q and Joe said, oh, okay, I see how it is. And so we just had really great chemistry that we built off of, and I couldn't say no. I never thought about radio or media in that sense. My sights were set on being an actor. And when the opportunity presented itself to be part of radio, I had to think about it and say, well, you know what? It's pretty much like acting, only I'm more of myself. I'm showing more facets of me. But then I could go into the office in my pajamas and not be seen. That was one of the best things. But now I can't really do that because everything is visual on top of it. I'm like, darn it. But in the beginning, it was kind of cool. I could just show up, hair a mess and no makeup, and my voice, as long as my voice sounded presentable, it was good. But yeah, that is my experience with our Pacific Islander community here especially in Southern California, but also with my journey going into the radio community.
That is so awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Miss Lulu. I have to say, when we first met you, I was like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. Where did she come from?
Thank you.
Your growth on the radio. It's just like you draw people in when you're hosting on the radio. So thank you for all the work that you do. Now moving forward, now that you guys are like in your story, now that you're a unit, what do you think the biggest challenge was for you all? And then how did you overcome that challenge? Sorry, that was like a
Hugh, go ahead.
I'll make it. I'll make it kind of short and to the point. I think as Pacific Islanders, we were raised in a culture that looks down on being boastful. We're always taught culturally to be very humble. And when you go into a media such as radio or TV, and when you're working out in Hollywood, there's a lot of very boastful people. So how do you become successful in a media, in an industry that always awards those folks that say, look at me? Mm-hmm. And so I think the hardest part for myself, and I know Joe and I have had these conversations, is how do we express that and not come off as boastful or
arrogant?
Arrogant. Thank you. And so, how do we do that? We really just work hard and we just try to treat everybody with respect. And I think that's one thing that Hollywood, Miss Lulu, you can probably attest to this. That's probably something that's not the norm in Hollywood. So staying true to ourselves culturally and being humble and working hard are all things that we've learned as Pacific Islanders, and we just take that with us in Hollywood. That's my answer.
Yes. Going along with that with Q, it was such an advantage for us because nobody in Hollywood has ever seen anything like us, because there wasn't a hidden agenda, right? In a lot of the thing, whereas in Hollywood, it's a dog eat dog world where there's always an angle. I feel like, at least with my experience with Hollywood, that when you meet people who are in the industry, there's always an angle of why they're meeting you, why they're talking to you. And so when they met us, and we are just, for lack of a better term, very sincere and genuine when we introduced ourselves, and when we invited you to something, we weren't expecting anything from you. And that went a long way.
And it always helps, sorry to cut you off, and it always helps that we always brought food everywhere we go to.
Yes.
So that was something that they loved.
Exactly. Always bring food to any event and you're golden.
Yeah.
It's like the number one rule to be successful in media. Provide food for all the hungry people. I think the other challenge though, Q, I don't know if you would, especially when we were first beginning, because we are not in media, right? Like we didn't have a media background, working with the equipment, trying to figure everything out. So like we were very grassroots. And the fact that we didn't have funding, right? So we didn't have all the tools necessary to be successful right off the bat. Like we had to fight and claw our way all the way through to get to the point where we were, because we had to learn everything from the ground level, and which it was a blessing in disguise, I think, Q, because now we know our business inside and out.
Right.
And we're very self-sufficient that way. So
absolutely,
that was
100%.
good. But in the beginning, it was like, I don't know, is my mic on? What am I saying? Are we even connected to anybody? Anybody out there? Hello? Marco, Paula? Like it was. Like, is that static? What is this background noise? I don't know how to tune this out. It's been a lot of fun. I can't believe how many years we've already put into this. So this is amazing.
That's so inspiring. Thank you for like all of that work that you guys are continuing to do to hold that space for our community. It speaks volumes. But I have this last question before we move forward. What was my question? My question, I had it right here. So this question is for our students. So if you have a message for our students that are aspiring to go into the music industry, or if they want to connect with you, because we have so much talent, and I'm sure you see that because you're showcasing all of the talent of our PI community. So if any words of encouragement or things that they should remember.
Lou, we'll have you start this off.
Yes on all of it. So for me as an artist, like coming from Samoa, my perspective is those options weren't available to me when I grew up in Samoa. I didn't know that I could actually dream as big to be on television or to be on radio, because we didn't have those opportunities. Still today in American Samoa, where I grew up, media isn't very prominent, and like theater classes, anything other than just music. I mean, music has always been a part of us, but we didn't have theater, we didn't have acting classes, we didn't have like special coaching for certain things. And so when I came to America, that was, I mean, Long Beach City College will always be a special place in my heart because it gave me the opportunity to truly express the hidden talents that I didn't even know that I possessed. So for all of you that grow up out here already, oh my gosh, the world is literally your stage, and we are just not mere players. You know, we tell a story, and our story needs to be heard. And so when there's a bit of a stigma when it comes to entertainment, right? Like, and I'll give it as an example right now for COVID-19. When COVID-19 hit, the entertainment industry was one of the hardest hit industries because of the pandemic, because it shut down everything creative, and we were deemed non-essential. Now, for me, that is devastating. And now you kind of get an idea, or I at least got an idea of how the public still views us, right? The media and entertainment industry and music, that we are non-essential. And yet, what about for our mental health, right? We need all of this. You're stuck at home. You're not twiddling your thumbs and looking at your partner, you know, you might not have a partner at the end of this pandemic. No, you're watching your favorite shows. You're listening to the newest music and artists that are out there. So for those students who want to pursue media and who want to pursue acting or entertainment or any form of arts, I say yes all the way, and don't ever give up, because if that is your passion and that is your calling, there is always an opportunity, and we are out here for you. Call us anytime at Miss Lulu, MYZLULU. Slide up in the DMs. I'll answer you, you know, at misslulu@gmail. I would love, use me as a tool. Anything that I know that can help you further your career or your dream, please don't ever stop that. And I know that sounds cliche, but I think you need to hear it from us. And we're still learning. It's a constant learning curve all the time. And I can't wait until the grasshopper becomes the teacher. And that's where, you know, we are at with the advances of technology and everything that there, and with social media. So please use all those platforms and utilize us as well.
Did you hear that, students? She just told you to go into her DMs so you can make all right.
Or like, was it TikTok duel with me, or what is it, like the
So then if it's their students, are we auntie now? I think we're auntie.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, ladies.
Oh my gosh, I'm auntie now.
Accept that. Okay, just accept it. Accept it with grace.
Oh, that means we've reached a certain level of reverence, right? Is that what it is? We're auntie now. Oh man.
I'll say this, Angel. one of my mentors is a guy by the name of Big Paul, and he's a Tongan guy. He was a Universal Records executive, and he is literally like our radio, well, my radio mentor. But he posed a question. He sat in a panel, and the question was very simple, and it was so simple it just kind of made me go, yeah, of course. But the question is, why not me? Right? So if all these other folks, if all these other ethnic communities, if these folks who have been in media or who are doing music, if they can do it, why not me? And your question was, what sort of advice would you give folks in the music industry? I would say that the music industry and entertainment industry as a whole is more than just the singer, is more than just the person in front of the camera. This is a $1 billion industry. And there are writers, there are producers that are getting paid more than the singers. There are directors, there are editors who get paid as much as actors in movies. So explore not only being in front of the camera, but think about careers behind the camera. A lot of people don't know this, but one part of the Island Block family, now I'll make this really quick. There's a guy named Freddie Gutierrez, who is part of Island Block. He is a Chamorro screenwriter. He's written for Eddie Murphy. He's written for Kevin Hart. He's written for Nickelodeon. He's done cartoons with Disney. These are all very doable careers. So my advice is just look outside of just being on stage in the front. Don't get me wrong. That's an amazing place to be. It's amazing to be in front of the camera. But the entertainment industry is much more than that. So there it is. Hi, honey.
No, snaps to that. Dropping gems. Thank you. Thank you. Hey.
Dropping gems. Q always does. No,
Always, always. Let's see. Okay, so I'm looking at the time. Do we have time for some grooving to music? No? Hi, baby.
This is my daughter, Lelo Fitote. I'm so sorry that she's in the office with me right now. Welcome to my new reality and our new norms. Office at home with the children.
Ready to dance with us? Hi. So cute. How old is she?
She just turned 2. She had a quarantine birthday on March 26th. I know, but she didn't. I'm glad it happened now. She doesn't know anything that's happening as long as her cake is available.
Set up a play date with my 2-year-old. Well, he's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, social distancing, guys, right? Social distancing.
Yes, right. But we can always FaceTime. We can do this. We can Zoom play date.
Yes, I'm for it.
I will say this, Angel. I will say this if I can. I'm really privileged and happy to announce that Island Block Radio has created an Island Block Media Scholarship that I'd like to share with our NHPI students. So, it's always been the mission of Island Block to create the platform for our people, and not only doing that and supporting the community that way, but if there is an NHPI student out there that is inquiring about a career in media, whether if you're majoring in journalism or mass comm, if you're a high school student senior that is looking for a career, and shout out to Paul Timo, because he's really one of the community members that has helped us develop this scholarship. And so I just want to put it out there. You guys get first crack at it. And then in addition to the scholarship money, it's a nominal amount, but I figure anything helps. In addition to that, and even more valuable in my eyes, is you get an opportunity to intern at Island Block Radio when everything is safe. So to have real life experiences to put on your resume, to learn skill sets that you might not be able to learn in any other environment. So I'd like to offer that to you guys. So thank you, Paul Timo, and thank you guys. And it is the Island Block Media Scholarship.
That is awesome. That's so exciting. I'm excited. I'm going to share that every single time you put that out there. But also, can you just give a spiel about how maybe our API students can follow you or listen to you? Because I know it's through an app and they have to download it. Right.
Lou, you want to go first, Lou?
Yes. Yeah, you can. It is through an app, and it's a free app. It's the Dash Radio app. And you just download that, and then you look for search Island Block Radio, and we're actually on the, what is it, Q? Like the quick view, right? For on Dash, like you'll just.
Yeah, I would
we
say.
made it to
I would say go to Island Block Radio on Instagram, and all the information is there. If you want to follow Miss Lulu, it is MYZLULU on Instagram.
Yep, at Miss Lulu.
And then my Instagram
and that's on all my handles.
Right here, on air with Q. And then, you know, if you're serious about the scholarship, feel free, even if you have a question regarding media, feel free to email me at q@dashradio.com. That's q@dashradio.com.
Yay! Thank you so much for being here today. Are we listening to music today, or should they listen to the morning ride in the morning?
You know what? You should do both. And we're trying to see if we could we had some artists that were going to chime in. So I don't know if they're in the green room.
Oh, right. Right in the
Yeah.
So we need to let them in or something.
Yeah. But if not, you know what? Go ahead and tune in to. Oh yeah, I think Kira Amosa is in.
Oh really?
Yep. She is. In. She is amazing.
She is amazing. I'm so excited for all her new music too that's out.
So we got her in, and so just let me just introduce this young lady. She is from Samoa by way of Australia. She's worked on many different productions. She's been live on stage. She did a Broadway rendition of, I believe it's The Bodyguard, in which she was she played Whitney Houston's part. So the cool thing about this job, you guys, is like, I want you guys, all you students out there, API students, I want you to find something that you're passionate in, that you love doing, and that you could definitely jump in with both feet. But this young lady is from Australia. I think we have her lined up. Okay. If not, then I'll just give you an introduction. You could go to Dash Radio. But, you know, she's come out here to Hollywood, California, and has just really jumped in as part of the Island Block family. And so I gave her a call. I said, hey, you know, we have this live panel that we're doing on Zoom. Would you be interested in performing for the students? So I think if she's ready to go, I think we got Kira Amosa, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you see
What's
me?
up, Kira? Yep, we can see you. How you doing?
Hi. Good. It's cold.
Your lighting
here,
is your lighting is always impeccable.
Oh what?
Hey.
This. I came with my ring light. It's a great reason.
So Kira, thank you for joining us. And shout out to everybody at the Long Beach Unified School District, API educators. Thank you so much. And so I'm going to turn the attention over to my friend, part of the Island Block family. This is Kira Amosa, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me just try and play. I've been trying to work out the sound all morning because you know me, don't want to do it in halves. So let's try and get this going. Hello, 1, 2. Yeah? Right, it wasn't working, so hopefully this is going to be okay. 1, 2, 1. This is, can you hear me? Cool, cool. All right, this is my first single that I ever released. It's called Fallen. Bit of background on me. I'm half Samoan, and so I'm really, thank you so much for letting me join, you know, such a great group of people today. hope it comes through. You got my attention, doing nothing but pretending that you wasn't even looking at me. But you know I don't wanna mention, I feel a little tension cause you falling too but just can't see. Now baby that won't even faze me, I'm just going a little crazy waiting for you to come over and change that. But if you can make it happen, I'll just have to work my magic to bring together you and me. Cause I'm falling and I can't get up, I'm falling and I need your love. Baby you know I can't get enough of your love, your love. I'm falling and I can't get up. I'm falling and I need your love. Baby, you know I can't get enough of your love. You give me that kind of something, want it all the time, need it every day. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at 100 and never getting off, I can stay away. If you want, I got it every day. You can get whatever you need from me. Stay by your side, I'll never leave ya. Cause I ain't going away, cause you're a keeper, don't you worry. Baby, you got me. I got a bad boy, I must admit it. You got my heart, don't know how you did it. Say I don't wanna hit it, babe. I don't wanna hurt the way you feel when you're next to me. Cause I love the way you make me feel. I love it, I love it. I love the way you make me feel. I love it, I love. Say early in the morning, I be thinking about you. I'm falling. Late at night, I get lonely, I wanna be around you. I'm falling. Early in the morning, I'll be thinking about you. I'm falling. Late at night, I get lonely, I wanna be around you. I'm falling. Said I'm falling for you, babe. With your love, because I'm falling for you, baby. Oh, I be thinking about you. I'm falling. Late at night, I get lonely, I wanna be around you. I'm falling.
Okay.
Kira, Mosa.
Yay, Lizzo! Oh, the fam!
Hi, baby girl. That was amazing as always.
Thank you.
We miss you. How is it down under? You're back in Australia, no?
Yeah, I'm back home. It's not the same. It's not the same. I do miss being in LA, but you know, I'm here with my family and I'm really safe here, and we're just kind of, it's like a slingshot. You just go backwards to propel forwards, you know?
Hey, that's amazing. That is the best analogy ever. Good for you, babe.
Kira, is there anything you want to say to our API students who are tuning in right now?
I think it's, as Polynesians, we kind of tend to push into our family and our loved ones, and now's the time to do it. So take the time to spend time with them, call the people that you don't really think you have time to call, because now you do have time. And it's just, it's all love. Love is the only thing that's going to help at this time, I think.
There's no excuses, right? Well, thank you, Kira. Thank you so much for checking in. And thanks for representing Island Block Radio on this panel. We appreciate you. Stay safe.
Love
Thanks.
you.
Love you guys. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow. Amazing.
She's
Incredible.
Amazing. I watched her on your couch concert and I was like, oh my gosh, amazing. So
Yeah, she's definitely someone to keep an eye on. She's gonna be huge, and I'm glad that we know her when, right? We'll always know her, but it's like, oh, I'm so glad that we got to meet her right now.
Angel, thank you so much for having us. We're honored, humbled to be a part of this panel. And congratulations to all that you guys are doing for the community. It's, you know, not only, I always feel that, you know, it's our responsibility to make sure that we set a good example for the younger generation and for young API students to see teachers and educators and administrators that look like us, it really just opens up their eyes to the things that they can do. So continued success. And if there's anything that Island Block Radio can do to help promote or whatever you guys got going on, please don't hesitate to let us know. And wash your hands, you guys. Wash your hands.
We've been doing this in the classroom, so like, let's do it, right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We're so honored by you all for taking the time out of your busy schedules to be with us at Long Beach API. So we hope maybe after all of this is over, we can like have a huge barbecue and students can meet you all. So
Yes.
Yes.
that. So
That would be amazing. Thank you so much.
yes,
Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing.
social distance. We got this.
Yes.
Love you all.
See you guys.
Bye.